Okay.
Food Junkie Radio, episode number 37.
I think that is
Boom. Correct. All right, we in there. Go ahead. You were talking about Prop 12. We're talking about another proposition going on in California, something dash 56 S2 something 3. And then big business is fucking it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, we're always talking about big business getting one over on the small guys because we're here for the small guys.
Right,
but
Prop 12, let's go over that one.
Let's start with Prop 12. Okay, so Prop 12 is what everyone's calling or saying that bacon's going to be banned in California. Okay, it does not say that anywhere in it at all.
But that is the narrative or the propaganda coming out.
That's the narrative of propaganda definitely coming out, and that's the spin on it. What's really going to happen is that bacon, pork products, most likely chicken products, the veal farmers said it's not going to be that big of an issue for them. Okay. But we'll see.
Veal meaning also like beef, folks, just in case you were wondering.
So they have to provide more space for the animals, right? So all those commercials, like when we were kids, like the black and white, like take care of a farm animal of them being locked in cages. Those farms definitely still exist, and I'm not super for them, but I don't know if this is the answer. All egg, chicken, veal, pork products sold in California starting in 2022 are going to have to come from farms that meet these set of guidelines where the animals have more space is the basis. There's, with any law, there's multiple, but let's just start with the more space.
Okay, quick question on that. If I'm a farmer in Nevada and I have a farm, because I'm planning to sell it to California, my farm has to meet the California code.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Also, sense. All the product everyone who wants to sell in California, whether you're in state or out of state, is going to have to meet these guidelines to be sold here.
From your farming area to be able to be allowed to sell into California.
That is correct. Oof. So, that's obviously going to put a cost onto the ranchers, farmers, who's ever growing these products. Mm-hmm. And the veal guys have pretty unanimously come out and said it's not going to be impossible for them. Mm-hmm. So there's not a big scare about that. The chicken ones, they're kind of complaining, but they're not putting up that much of a fight either. It's really the pork rancher, farmer, whatever you want to call them. Those are the ones that are really putting up a stink and like, we're not going to be able to do this.
Yeah, because they have to upend their entire business plan or their business model. We're going
to have to either cut the amount that we output or we're going to have to put a significant investment in our own property, which we're going to have to pass on because we can't just run negative. A business can't just run negative for so long.
So then, hence the price hike.
They're going to have to sell their pork products higher. When you go out to eat, bacon's going to be more expensive. And the worry is that bacon's going to get so expensive, it's going to be impossible. It's not worth it to produce.
How much does bacon need to cost for you not to buy it?
I think for me as a restaurant person or me as the diner?
Restaurant, then diner.
Okay. I'm going to go the other way.
Diner, then restaurant.
Let's see. If I want...
No, just do diner. Just do diner.
If I went to a restaurant and I wanted a side of bacon, that's usually, 2-3 strips, depending on where you go. Usually 2. If it's nice bacon, 3 if it's...
small, yeah.
I think, what is it now? I think I charge $2 to add bacon, which is really cheap.
Yeah.
I think I would expect that most places it's like $3.50. Yeah. I think once you start getting to like $5.50, $6, I'm probably just not gonna add the bacon, right?
So basically double.
Like I'll see it and I'll get it, and I'll understand, but I'm just not gonna add bacon. I'm just not going to. So what does that put it at for the restaurant? That means the restaurant's probably having food costs on it at $2-3 for those 2 strips. 2 strips are about 4 ounces uncooked. Yeah, because that's what all the weight is always. You always weigh uncooked. So what is 4 times 4? So 16. So $16 a pound is what if the restaurant has to pay $16 a pound for bacon. I don't know, what is it now? Like $8.50, $9.
Yeah.
It's not that much of a stretch, even if it goes up to 12.
No.
And 6 is like, I definitely would not. I think even when it started to creep up to around 4, I'd probably just be like, forget it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Maybe if I really wanted it,
But I mean,
but probably not even at 4.
the thing I'm thinking is, the thing that sucks is the fact that the reason why it's going up has nothing to do with the actual product itself or the practice. It's just this notion of, hey, space them out more, which we've talked about before about some of those, requirements already in existence, meaning they aren't really well regulated to begin with, and it's arbitrary in kind of the idea of the thinking where it's like, oh, you're thinking my chicken is out there open range, there's not even a human in sight, and it's just by itself, where in reality it's like, nope, there's just a little area with a window, and then they're regulated to just be out in that sun for 5 minutes, and then they could just
can't even spread its wings and its little
That's what I'm saying. So now this just what adds on to basically the consumer paying more, smaller businesses getting pretty much pushed out, or just making it even harder for them to put their product on, whether it's independent or if they're working for bigger companies, just they got to restructure their area, and then however that plays out. I mean, speculative. I don't know for sure, but it just doesn't sound right. It just sounds like it's just everything's going up along with everything else in the world.
Yeah. I mean, whenever something like this happens, it's always going to be easier for the bigger businesses to handle it, because when you're bigger, you just have more options. Yeah. That's just how it is. Money, when you're smaller, you don't have as much on-hand capital to change something last second, or even fight a new law going into effect. You kind of just have to figure out how to do
operate
it. Operate in the red for a little while and hope you come back to the black. Basically is what probably a lot of people are going to do. I forgot what I was going to say. Something. I think what it comes down to is that, but then also people, the majority of California voted for this prop. It wasn't the lawmakers. The lawmakers suggested it, and we, in majority, chose to pass it.
66% of a third of the population voted on this. So a third of the population, 66% of the population,
of the people that voted, which is, it's always like 2-3% of people that vote or whatever. So the majority voted for it, so it passes, right?
Oh, fuck.
But I think it's just another instance of people being kind of unaware of what they're voting for, and like seeing, oh, that sounds great. Yeah. Very much the buzzword of like animal welfare and animal rights, and like, yeah, I want this. But then, 2 years later, I think we voted on it 2 years ago. Now it's coming in. Now everyone's like, oh, well, clutching their pearls of like, well, what about my bacon? It's like, well, you chose to make it more expensive. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
It's always in that little paragraph they have, and it's like, oh, this is going to animal rights. And I don't know where I stand on animal rights. I'm like, yes, there are shitty practices out there, clearly. But for it to even be more regulated in the idea of like, hey, you need to take care of them more. I don't know who that overlaying body is of people that are going to do that, but it's not nobody who's passionate about food like that. It's going to be government entities or people that aren't really...
Well, people who are just trying to get reelected.
Yeah.
Who are just appeasing to their constituents.
Boom.
Right? They know the buzzwords that their constituents want to hear so that they get voted in again. It's not... which is a bummer, because if people themselves had just taken the self-action of not buying from, this farm because they don't like their practices, that farm would have either changed a long time ago.
Yeah, went out of business.
Or that big business would have changed a long time ago. Like I think we talked about the RGBH milk or whatever before.
Yeah.
That was never a government mandate. Mm-hmm. That was literally enough propaganda came out and enough awareness came out of milk with that in it, that now everyone labels it, because that's what we as a populace voted with our dollar to say. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So all this stuff can happen, but when it's government mandated, the problem is there is no lesser option that's a little bit cheaper. You're not allowed to do it the cheaper way, which for some people is okay.
This.
Yeah. And it lowers the competition, because everyone has to follow stricter and stricter rules. So instead of such a wide variety, you just get everyone doing the same thing, which the bigger business is always going to min-max. They're always going to min-max it first.
Yeah.
Because they have the money. They have the resources to do it fastest.
Their margins are way crazy.
Unless some little guy figures it out super fast, gets lucky.
Yeah.
Which can happen.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
You could really have a setup which where it accommodates for that.
Which is always the argument from big businesses. Well, it's not like they couldn't figure it out. And it's like, you're right.
Yeah.
but they couldn't have figured it out in 2 months or in
That's
4
what
months like
sucks,
you did.
Because when big business, you speak about it, it's not in person. It's just an entity. It's an idea where a farmer's like, nope, that's Joe the farmer.
Yeah, that's Joe the farmer.
Yeah, and his
who's
family.
just like,
yeah,
I guess I don't know what I do.
yeah.
I guess I just sell it illegally. I don't know.
But I mean, let's be honest. There is those markets out there. I mean, I've seen
For sure.
operations of black market. I mean, there's a whole different side of the industry that is a little more rural based, or there's a little more of
Yeah,
a
where you know the
communal
guy,
based. Yeah,
and they're
I
just
mean,
like,
shit.
yeah, just pay me cash.
Thank you. Yeah, see,
Pay me
and that's
cash.
what
Venmo
you're talking
me.
about. But see,
Yeah.
that's what I think is a big
Yeah.
difference. What we're seeing is that might be a mandate. And maybe that could be in response to possibly small farms, thriving. Private small businesses have been thriving the last 2 years. Let's be honest. Straight to cash, Cash App, all these Venmos.
Yeah.
They've been doing direct service. And the fact that we have these drop-off delivery services definitely benefits big business. And definitely out of this whole thing, big businesses, big-time winners. But at the same time, there's a new burgeoning small business out there. And I think I'm familiar with people buying eggs from people and shit like that
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
areas that I've seen. So I'm like, that's not a majority, and I think this only that prop affects California in the idea that we are comprised of a lot of cities that are a lot more congested. So that'll affect those people because they're reliant on grocery chains. They're reliant on eating like that. They
There's
don't
not
have
not a farmer near them.
Nope. Yeah, so that's why I think California. The optics look crazy, but I think it is a flush out of small business and then arbitrarily bringing up prices for no reason. It's not like there's hella pigs like, oh, they're upset with their living.
Yeah.
What I mean, to my knowledge,
It's like we're upset with it.
that's what I'm saying.
For them.
Yeah.
It's like they probably don't care.
No.
I mean, I don't know for sure, yes or no, but it would seem like they don't care.
No, man. I mean, to my knowledge, I've seen some, pig pens when I've traveled around the world, and they're no different than the ones here. And I'm like, they yield the same. I mean, they could have nicer, surroundings, I guess, but I don't know if that's their request or is this some arbitrarily thinking.
We
like,
just wanted to look.
they're
nice.
a smart being, so we want.
It's
them
almost
with,
like we've gotten so comfortable that like, oh, we're good, so let's start
making
sure
them like they're humans too.
Yeah, they're good too, right? Like we want,
man.
everybody wants it all wrapped up in a nice bow, but
that shit is ridiculous.
I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. I don't really know which side I sit on it. I never want the government to mandate anything. I just want to be left alone and let just people vote with themselves on what they want.
You hit it on the head when you were saying if you're gonna buy it and you're gonna check your sources and want to know where it comes from. That's on the individual. You get to choose, and like you said with the RBST with the milk, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if everything shifted dramatically or even slowly, and they just saw it, like let's say sales dip, and then all of a sudden, but people are still getting pork somehow, and then you're like, wait, what's going on? Like, oh, they're just going direct to these farmers.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like butcher shops open up, like smaller ones. There's one next to. What's that? Origami.
V. Miller.
V. Miller. There's another one. Brothers Butchers, I think, out in Elk Grove area. There's a couple. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't remember a time when there was some type of surgence of meat markets, but the fact that they're slowly cropping up leads you to think that maybe that is one of those small businesses for some reason that's able to get in there.
I think that's one of the things that is a silver lining of the quarantine. Is that people had more time at home that wasn't just filled with busy work or doing nonsense. It's like, oh, what's this article about? Buy local. Let me actually read it. And people being, oh, man, that'd be cool if there was a local butcher I could go to. And, it used to like be Cordy and Taylor's.
Yeah.
It forever.
That's it. Yeah.
Which is, I'm stoked that they were there.
Yeah.
But, we all want more variety. And if you live in Art and Arcade, you want to be driving all the way down here just for that. Yep. So it's nice to hear that there's some other places opening up.
This is in recent memory, at least. So I don't know, at the end of the day, if they ultimately get, turned out or if they are able to thrive. But, I mean, hopefully that works out for them. And then thinking about the pricing, one, you could say it's don't change the prices, but then – depending on circumstance, they're able to charge whatever they want. So technically, at your own, demise.
If there's a lot of them, they can all charge whatever they want.
Yep.
And we will decide which price we like.
I want choices. That's what I want. I don't want singular. Nope, this is across the board.
I want to choose. I don't want the government to choose for me.
Yep. Exactly. Or coerce me into here's what you need to get.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens with product labeling and shit like that, where it's like, no, this is it. Like we talk about the buzzwords. It's like, yo, buy this. Like, you ain't no one telling me to shit. I'm going to do my own thing, and I just want options. I don't even know. I'm not going to buy that one. I like to know that there's options.
Yeah.
That's it.
And like, I recognize that someone's going to get one over on me from time to time.
Yep.
And that's
the game.
That's the game.
That's the game.
But you know what? When I go buy that product and it tastes horrible, or my friend tells me, "Oh, you went to that shop? Hey, I went there the other day and I saw that they were, beating the animals in the back and whatever."
Yeah.
Then guess what I do? I just don't go there next time.
And clearly, people can
I
record
learn my
anything.
lesson
Yep.
and I move on with my life. I don't sit there and bemoan the fact that one time someone got one over on it. I just okay. That sucks. I wish I hadn't bought that, but now I know.
Now I know.
I think everyone's always worried about being wrong and about like buying the wrong thing, and so they want the government to like make sure everything is the correct choice
for them. But that's not how it works.
But you have to realize the government isn't here just for you.
No.
Right? That we all know that they're there to stay elected. They're in a job that they want to keep, and they only keep it by staying elected, which means they're not here just for you, this one person. They're here for whatever group they represent.
Whatever their majority is.
And then now the game has changed so far that they're not even here for the group they represent. They're here in face for the group they represent, but they're getting paid from this other source to be like a human filter of information.
Yeah.
That's
is
crazy.
How I see it. I agree.
So,
like, what is actually happening?
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, let's change it up, because whatever faults we're going to have with a different system, we already have them with this one that we're doing. So what's wrong with just mixing it up, changing it? Let's challenge some things.
But I think it does start, the microcosm is going way, way smaller. And local, as much as that word is just used crazily, it's like, that is the way to do it, is you build within your community. And that's the only way it's going to work, is to identify, the sources and streams and communicate amongst each other. Because the government is not there. I mean, it's there at our service, but what has happened was it's become some other different, beast. So us, the individual, is all the things we've always spoken about.
Yeah.
Like, vote with your dollar, help your fellow man out, listen to your fellow man. Just be around each other and then understand the environment around you, because the idea of what California is a large thinking bubble. And a lot of the times when it pertains to that wording of all of California, a lot of it is just LA, San Francisco.
Yeah.
But then it's us, and then we're in the capital. So now looking at that, you're like, okay, well, you just keep on making your circle a little smaller, and not necessarily you, the individual, keeping a small circle of people but more just getting familiar with your people around you.
Live off we live in like the most fertile part of the whole country.
Yep.
There's no reason that each one of us can't live off just what's grown within, 20, 25 miles.
It's definitely possible.
That's pretty far.
Yeah.
That's pretty far.
Yeah, that's
especially
a big
in Sacramento.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But you could find these sources of, anything, I think.
And I think the other problem I hear when I bring this up to people are like, oh, well, that'd be really hard. Like, I don't have time to go to 5 different farms a day. And I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not asking you to change overnight, but like when you have the option,
do that.
Drive on Saturday morning or Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon or Wednesday if you got off work early, go for a drive. One, the drive's going to be dope, especially if you're driving down the Delta.
Fuck yeah.
And then you're going to feel great, and you're going to support this local person who you're going to take that money that you pay them. They're going to put it right back into you in their own community, because that's the only place they have to go. And then as they get bigger, then maybe they join a little coalition of a bunch of places near them, and more people come to like the Sunday market.
Yep.
Or maybe there's like a Wednesday market.
Yeah.
But you can't expect the infrastructure to grow if you put nothing into it.
Yeah, if you're not participating or you're not being
especially if you want it. Wanting it is great.
Yep.
That's step like 0.
Yeah.
You have to want something to
Everybody
exist.
makes that choice.
Right.
Now
which I think everyone
active.
wants these small things to exist.
Yeah.
I remember living in SF and just seeing like the bodegas on each corner.
Oh yeah.
That have like 5 different vegetables and 5 different fruits.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, that's cool, dude. Why you're telling me they have that in SF, but why don't we have that here?
Exactly. Every corner store could have that. Clearly,
so
but they don't.
It'd be cool
because it's not representative of the community.
And maybe we're at the start of it. Maybe
that's what I said.
This is the thing that finally pushes people over the edge. Like, I don't want to pay this much. I'm just gonna go drive out to, what is it, like Wilton,
Yep.
until I see some farmland, and I'm just going to drive up to the door.
Yeah. Like, hey, what's up? You guys selling?
What's
I
up?
mean,
Can I
signs are
just
all
buy
out
some
there.
straight from
Yeah.
there's always, you always
Drive
see
up
fresh
Bradshaw.
cherries.
Fresh cherries,
Yeah.
eggs,
What's that, like
strawberries.
Something Creek or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All those places are out there. And, people are people. Do you give someone cash, dude, they're going to give you something.
Yep. I think
So-
that's what you were talking about.
And that's what we all want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just peer to peer.
But we have to do it. It is hard to do.
It is. Well, because we've spun ourselves into a
when
way
your
of
day
life.
is full,
Yeah.
9 to 5, and really when your day is full, 9 to 9,
Yeah.
it's never going to be easy to start. But as we do it, it'll get easier and easier. You'll build it into your week.
But that's why, and that's why food, as I think about, talking about food all the time, I go into these weird wormholes about just thinking about it and how important it is, but how it's, portrayed and displayed in this culture. But what was that what was the other prop that you were talking about, the other measure?
All right, so the other new food law coming into effect in just California, I think it's just California, something SB whatever, is that grocery stores can't throw away unsold food, or if the food's still good but they don't want to sell it, they can't just throw it away anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They have to donate it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Okay. At 0.0, it's
Yeah.
great. We shouldn't be throwing anything away that's useful.
Yes.
Especially when there's people just starving 100 feet away from you. I think it's also extending, or like phase 2 of it is extending to large caterers, whatever that definition means. I read enough to know it doesn't mean me yet.
Not yet.
But I do see it extending out to me, and me not being able to throw away usable food, which, I mean, I don't really do anyway. They're always laughing
Well,
at
your
me out
job
there.
is to
well,
make sure you don't
I
have
lose
that.
every time I throw away food. That's just like my food cost goes up
Yeah.
a lot because I made zero money off the food I just sold. So I'm always trying to lower my food costs, but I wouldn't want some government agency just watching over me, making sure, oh, you threw away some onion scrap.
Fined. You're fined.
You're fined every penny.
Yeah. We're gonna weigh your trash at the end of the
we're
night.
gonna weigh your compostable trash, and
Yeah.
every pound is gonna cost you 10 cents.
Yeah.
That's where I don't want it to go, and I don't think anyone wants it to go there.
Nope.
But exactly with the rule we were just talking about, Prop 12. That's where I see it going.
Yes.
I see its natural progression continuing that way.
Yeah.
And again, that's only going to benefit the bigger businesses that have the bandwidth and capacity to. Oh, well, we don't have to throw it away. We're storing it.
Yep.
We're storing.
We'll
it.
buy back.
Well, we're gonna freeze it and turn it into this powder and
Yep.
do it. Like, I can't do that.
Nope.
I can't.
You, the small farmer.
I could do
yeah.
one little part of what
Yeah.
they do as a big business. They could do it all.
Yeah.
So my options are limited. So I see it. I'm kind of for it for now.
Yeah.
But I see it as opening a doorway to opening access to the government to get their more sticky hands and everything.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they need to do.
No, I mean, the way I think it'll play out is farms and big businesses are in cahoots with government to some degree, and then it's incentivized. I mean, like I was talking about, a grocery store could be incentivized to buy, multiple pallets of apples, and whatever you don't have, we'll buy back, and then that company in turn will give it to a subsidiary there to turn it into apple juice.
That was the other facet.
Shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the other part of, not only do I not want the government to come in and start finding me for a little thing I do, but I see this as a way for bigger, like, what are they called, commercial farms and ranches to be like, okay, we know that you're going to have to donate whatever you don't sell fast enough. So here, I have a plan for you to help save you, the Safeway or Albertsons, or I guess that's the same company. What's another one?
Bel Air,
Trader
Joe's, Costco.
I have a plan for you. We'll sell you 30 cases of apples.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you only sell 10.
Yep.
I'll buy back 20 of them.
Yep.
Or whatever's still okay
Whatever
enough
you
for
haven't
me.
donated, and then I'll take whatever
Maybe
back.
you end up having to donate 2 or 3 cases. I'll buy back the rest because I'll turn them into something else and I'll sell it back to you again.
Sell it back to you or somebody else.
Or somebody else.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it makes
but
sense.
But like Farmer Joe can't do that
Nope.
because he's already uprooted all that, and he has a different plant in storage waiting to sell. And when Trader Joe's is like, well, can you buy this back? This other company does. And he's like,
and he's selling it
dude,
cheaper.
I already spent all that money you gave me. I'm barely making it here. I had to grow my celery for next year. Or I had
gotta
to grow.
donate it then. It's like,
So, and they're like, okay, well, we'll donate it, but just know we're probably not going to buy from you next year because we can't.
yeah. I mean, pricing, availability, and there's no buyback program. I mean, what are we going to do?
So it's
that's where it's headed, possibly.
That's the danger, right? That's where I see it could go, and I hope it doesn't, but.
Oh, man.
Whenever you restrict something, it makes it harder for everybody, but it makes it especially hard for people who are operating on a small budget.
Yeah,
because they have
small
less
margin.
options.
And it's crazy for farmers to be operating on a very thin margin, because they are the purveyors of that stuff, and the fact that
purveyors of life.
That's what I'm saying, and the fact that they are going to have even a harder time to. Conduct business now, going against, bigger industry that has multiple platforms of, utilizing their product. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
At least the narrative. Now it comes down to, okay, what are people going to do?
In the initial, it all sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
It all sounds great, and that's how a lot of this stuff gets passed, because it sounds great. Yeah. But, how many times do you have to hear it sounds great, and then 5 years down the line, we're like, remember that thing that was supposed to be like good for us? Look how it got just twisted.
Yeah, how do we get here?
Look how many loopholes people found, and that's what's always going to happen. There's always going to be a loophole, and so whenever you're coming up with some new law or whatever, you have to find a way to not prevent loopholes, but make it give people the option to succeed no matter what their situation is.
But that's what sucks, is because with more regulation, more, law in place, it always brings up more problems as opposed to less, as opposed to taking it away and just allowing people to,
It creates more problems, except when you take away regulation, it creates more problems, but it gives us, the people, the power to just...
Power of choice.
Use common sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's exactly what we're talking. When something gets so big, you have to get rid of common sense on the day-to-day person decider level, because then there's no consistency across the board, which I get and I accept, and it does make sense. But we're the ones in charge.
Yeah,
we are.
Humans are the least consistent thing, so we're trying to have a constant for something that isn't
over
consistent.
A group of people, just California, that from Northern California and Southern California in the middle and kind of halfway in between. They all have completely different beliefs.
It's totally different. And you're talking about different demographics, different people.
Having one set of rules to govern all those people is kind of crazy.
It is.
There should be a
you
bunch
quantify that to the actual America, it's even crazier, because you're like...
There should be different options for maybe people in NorCal don't care that the pig are living in a small... But maybe that's just a Southern Cal thing, and that's fine.
I mean, if you're really that concerned for the person who's like that, just don't buy product from that place.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. Because at the end of the game, think about it this way. What is all this for, in your opinion? All the laws and...
Just to make me feel better.
Yeah, right? To make humans feel better about consuming food?
Yeah, just... I don't know. Like...
Or is there a monetary gain for the benefit of people, meaning, we're going to spend more money so you guys can live healthier through what we think is healthier for you, because eating happy pork makes you happy. So there you go. But I'm like, is that decided by you?
Toxins make it in the meat, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know if the sciences are real. I know just for me, I would like the animals treated nice, because that's just my beliefs, and that's what I would want. And if I have to pay more for that, I accept that, and that's fine for me. Yeah. But I don't think, some other people aren't going to care.
No,
and there should be an option for them.
Yes.
Just like, what was it? Some people were saying to you yesterday, they love instant coffee, and I was like, dope.
Yeah, that's why.
And they were like, do you want some? And then they were like, actually, I know you don't want any, because you're always buying it. I'm like, yeah, I buy expensive coffee because that's what I like.
Yeah, I put value into that.
Yeah, you buy. Someone else is gonna buy a super nice chainsaw because they are super nice hammer because they actually care. Yeah. Me, dude, I'll probably just use my water bottle. Hammer would be fine.
To each his own. Yes.
You know what I mean? So we should be allowed to do that.
Options. The more options, the merrier.
Yeah.
Because they'll single themselves out. If there's like you said, if there's a farm out there, beating their pigs up and using them in MMA fights and shit, and gun practice, and it becomes awareness of the people, because in today's world, you can just, somebody could be, look, I'm over here at the pig farm, look what they're doing. clearly, and then
I'm
that'll and
They
here.
sell here.
And then what news, at least in theory, should be doing is like, hey, everybody, this is a business
this is
that's
what they're
here.
doing.
We just want to report what's been reported by your fellow brethren. Just putting it out there. We are unbiased. We just want to give you guys the information. But unfortunately, news don't work like that either. News is like what's going on in the whole entire world. Or, oh, here's the hurricane that's coming in 3 months. We should prepare now. Buy toilet paper. Like,
here's this person just got shot. This person just got shot. This
See?
person just got stabbed.
Ideally, that
Be
would
scared.
work.
Stay inside.
But see, ideally, that would work in looking at the system we have. And I think to your point, walking away from those systems and creating your own system is, I think, the name of the game.
Creating your system as just you, the person.
Yes.
Not a system for
everybody else.
You and 100 other people.
Nope.
Just have your own morals
system.
that you decide on.
No judging of people. Keep your own business in mind and mind your own, thoughts and shit. And you just be nice to everybody. And I think that in turn will, I don't know what it will result in, but it seems like that's a better starting point at this point in time.
Than having some third party, which is our government, come in and say, oh, well, I don't care if you like animals and you hate animals and you don't give a damn about animals.
You're a vegetarian.
And you're a vegetarian. Guess what? You all have the same rules. You're all going to eat the same thing. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
This is all for
Which
you
is
guys'
like,
benefit.
that sounds crazy.
Yeah. We're all doing this for all your guys' benefit. You guys wanted this.
Yeah.
I was like,
most everyone in America loves America because we have choices.
Yeah.
Yet we're constantly
for now
getting rid of them.
Be little by little, but it does hark on that emotional thing. I think what you're talking about. The headlines read as such. The headlines read as the narrative or the propaganda they want you to see. And in turn, it makes you feel a certain way. Like, shit, if they show a pig and it's all like, on TV, you're going to be, oh, I feel bad. That's what they do, though.
Yeah, when they play the Sarah McLachlan song.
Yeah.
You feel horrible.
Got a kid with flies on his eyes. Like, you want to donate at least just $1 a day?
Yeah, just a penny.
I don't like that shit. I hate that shit. Because, I mean, it's just harking on your emotions. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. These situations possibly are out there, but I don't think they're on the magnitude of what people are to believe.
Well, I mean, I want to help. I want to help every person in need, but at the same time, I can't help anyone if I'm not even thriving, not just surviving. You have to be thriving to help someone else. If you're just in survival mode, you can't help someone else.
And that's what sucks is because it's so detached when you see those things. You're like, I don't. But you'll make I'll do that because it's here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But there's no connect. It's not like I know that guy or hey, I seen them or I'd like to pass information. And
that kind of thing makes you feel like that's the only way to help.
Yeah.
Right? Because whatever, I live in a congested part of Sacramento, kind of, where there's plenty of homeless people. And I used to, drop all my stuff off to Goodwill, and then someone was like, hey, Goodwill makes hella money off that, right? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, they don't give away anything. And I was like, oh, I thought they gave away some. And they're like, no, they sell. And I was like, oh, well, that's not what I want to do. And instead of, I was mad at Goodwill for all of 5 minutes. And I was like, well, there's only like 100 dumpsters near me with 100, homeless people per dumpster or whatever. So now I just like, if I'm done with a piece of clothing and I want to donate it, I just wash it, fold it, put it on top of the recycle bin, very obviously that it's clean, and within like 10 minutes, it's gone.
Yeah.
Blanket
on the
that I
road.
don't use it.
All your clothes are right under the freeway.
Well, hopefully they use it. Hopefully they just burn it for heat or
I
use
know,
it.
Man. That
at least for me, I'm like, it's not much. It's truly not that much, but at least I feel like there's no middle guy getting his little cut of that piece of clothing.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully going right to someone who could actually use it.
Yeah. And that's what sucks, even though in peer-to-peer like that. But the whole homeless situation is a whole different ballgame to me.
Yeah.
I can't, unpack that, and I don't understand how to approach that one. But yeah, no, that makes sense in terms of.
But in the sense of just like, I want.
Yeah, direct.
I want to shorten the chain as much as possible.
I want to see the benefits immediately.
Yeah, because every link in the chain, it's going to get a little bit weaker, bend somewhere, go a different direction than I initially wanted it to. And
yeah, but that's the thing that sucks, because you think Goodwill, man. Yeah, it's like it's inherited.
It's literally
in you
named
to
Goodwill.
Think, yeah, but no, it's a business just like anything else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a business without a face. And I think once you start to see that in that light, and like I said, always bring it down to like some level of real, you're like, yo, I'm just around my area.
It's a smart business plan.
Oh, very smart.
I don't hate on him for it, but I just know that's not how I want my donation to go.
No. because you're thinking is like, yeah, this will help, a family that's on the streets. But you realize it's like, oh, there's too many families on the streets.
Making this guy money.
Yeah, it's making somebody else money, and then this person bought it for goodwill and resold it on eBay for double the price to somebody. Like, wait, what? What the fuck are we doing?
And then I never helped anybody.
No, it didn't help nobody. It just became part of some commerce. You know what I'm saying? And I don't.
Which is exactly what we're talking about the government coming in with this rule about you have to donate. I'd be interested to see the data on how much stuff ends up getting donated and exactly how it goes.
And who does it go to?
I think this buyback thing. We just thought of it right before we started talking about it.
Yeah,
but I think that's gonna happen fast.
Yeah, because
if I was a grocery store and someone offered me a buyback thing, I'd be like, dope,
incentivized, and it's fucking 50% or 50 cents less than the next.
I have no risk.
No risk.
You're telling me I have no risk.
Yeah,
okay.
I could donate and still have possibly some left over, and you'll take it on. That's cool. Yeah, I'm into it. And grocery chains, at least in places that
business.
Are exactly
businesses
places that
have no emotion. They don't have no political
bottom line is everything.
A business cares about one thing, and it's about being positive money or negative money.
Yeah,
that's it.
Positive, plus and minus,
and it has to be positive.
Yeah. And they'll do everything in their power to do it at any expense.
The business as the entity.
Yeah.
Right? The people,
people are honest.
The you and I's that work in the business, we want to do it the right way.
Yes.
But the business will not exist if it's in the red.
Yeah.
It will not.
Yeah.
Cannot.
It will cut you. It will cut me.
Yeah.
Just to get
it'll
that
take people
plus.
down with it, too. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's in the black, it doesn't really raise people up with it. It just exists longer.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's faceless. It's to nobody. No, not one person is taking the responsibility. Accountability isn't there. So when it's in function of making money, that's its sole purpose. Mm-hmm. People that work for it are not guilty for abating in helping this on. They're just working there, and they just happens to be doing this. That's all what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane. Anyway, what else? What else was there? Sorry. That was.
I don't know. Those were my two. I was just looking forward to.
All right, we'll see what happened.
2022.
We got fall transition coming in, so it's all looking nice. Holidays are in the full swing. We're November 1st.
I'm always excited when the fall vegetables.
Yeah, pea coat season. You get all the nice squashes. You get all the stone fruits.
I'm into honey nut squash this year. It's a variety of butternut.
Honey nut squash.
Honey nut. It's a variety of butternut. I think to me it seems like it just has less water. It's smaller. It's more.
Ooh.
It's like butternut with an exclamation point. But it's tinier.
Same shape?
Same.
Oh.
Looks the same. So that one's been cool.
Nut.
I've seen pomegranate everywhere this year already. More
popping.
than usual.
Yeah.
Way more than usual.
Yeah.
Persimmons are coming in. The
a lot of persimmons, yeah.
I can't wait to start eating those.
What, persimmons?
Yeah. Have you had the amagakis from Twin Peaks? Those things are gas, dude.
No.
Nature just provides, dude.
It's probably going to be a good season this year.
Yeah,
based on like what you said, the first things I saw, pomegranate, persimmon. Like when I went to go see, the people that I beat.
People are into it.
Mm-hmm.
I always find that I'm able to convince people to eat way more vegetables in fall specifically.
Oh, yeah.
I think
squash
maybe
definitely came
just
up though.
Excited about the fall squash. I think as summer comes to an end and spring, they're just like, dude, I'm done with zucchini. Done. Yeah. No more zucchini.
Butternut squash is in honey nuts, and all those are amazing. Spaghetti squash
they taste
up
like
in
candy, dude.
They're nice
when they're roasted.
They're just good to work with. Like it's a beautiful product.
They're easy.
It's awesome. Yeah, cheap.
They are cheap.
Yeah, cheap
for
as fuck.
You can buy like one butternut squash for a family of 4.
Yeah. I want to say squash in the last 10 years has definitely come up.
There's soups.
Yeah. They weren't as popular before, but now there's a lot of love for them. At least to my knowledge, squash is one of those throwaway ones. But it's prevalent in every culture for the most part. Each culture has one prevalent squash in their food game. America, I think, is coming around to it, especially butternut leading the way as butternut is the poster child of squash in America.
Yeah.
But, I mean, spaghetti gets in there.
The first Thanksgiving, the three sisters, the corns, beans, and squash.
Yeah. See, squash always gets the
but when you think
the shit.
I think when you ask the average American squash, they say butternut.
Yeah.
Because zucchini has like a name.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Zucchini's not squash, and they're like, well, okay, it is, but whatever.
Zucchini
butternut
just signed his own thing, and he's on his own pathway. But butternut is the face of the. He's still part of the squash world. Yeah. See, pumpkin gets no love because pumpkin only gets the fucking.
Good.
Pumpkin for eating, slept on.
Yeah.
Slept on.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper than butternut squash.
Yeah. It's a little bit awkward to work with, but it's good.
It's good. You usually see it in cans. People for pumpkin pie, I know that's a big deal. But even then, I mean, yeah, squash has definitely risen up its popularity in the last 5 years, at least in my opinion. It seems like once fall hits, every recipe that's re-released out into the ether is always going to be some squash.
Brown sugar, sage,
roasted,
brown butter,
gnocchi, sage, hazelnut.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with all that stuff. Is great.
That shit's good.
That stuff is great.
It's just warm. This is probably
I'm
the best time to eat.
like just like eat cream again.
This is the best time to eat.
Like
this is hibernation essentially.
Yeah, we're storing up before winter comes through, and there's nothing.
Well, because now you don't feel as guilty. Lunches and dinners aren't like, oh, I'm just gonna have like a protein with a sauce for summer or a salad. Now you're all more into the I'm gonna have a
pork
starch.
chop.
And
I'm having roasted squash.
Yeah.
And I'm having some cream sauce.
Yeah, and it's warranted.
Happy.
Because you feel this is the time when you eat and then you chill.
Yeah.
Like summertime is more like I'm eating a power lunch.
I eat like 2 bites and I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm full.
Yeah. I'm going to sip some cocktails at night, have a nice little charcuterie, and then we're good.
That is my dinner.
Yeah.
I had a charcuterie board and a gin and tonic, and I'm set.
It's set to go. Wintertime is when the heavy cream gets in, butter.
Chocolate.
Fuck yeah.
I'm going to make ourselves
guilt-free
later.
Guilt-free.
It's cold out. I gotta warm up.
And we're in California. Cold is 72
right
degrees.
It's 60 degrees out.
And it was sprinkling out there for all you people out there in California. Be careful.
It's going to rain. It's going to rain. And I was like, when? And they're like, it's raining right now. And I was like,
yeah, sprinkles.
I mean,
that's
technically, sure, it's raining.
California.
We got it good.
What else was I looking at? I was fascinated by nutrition facts for some reason. I think it's
more people should be.
The idea that what was it? I think I was just thinking about restaurants. And it's like, you don't have to put any nutrition facts on yours, obviously. It's only when you're a restaurant that exceeds, like, I don't know how many locations.
It's like 3. I think at, like, the 4th location you have to.
Really? Okay.
It's pretty low. It's pretty low. But I think it'd be like if I had, like, 4 of the same.
Oh, the actual same concept.
I think so. I'm not sure.
I just found it fascinating because it's like, we put that on, labeling and nutrition facts on mostly everything, at least in California or America. But when it comes to restaurants, it's this weird business where it's like you don't really have to disclose what you put in there. And then at that point, it's more of a, I guess.
Caloric-wise, I don't have to disclose.
Is it?
Well, I mean, I list everything that's in the dish pretty much.
On the menu.
Yeah.
But not in its, caloric intake.
Right. No,
yes.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's interesting because
that'd be a lot of mass, dude. Don't suggest
but that's what I'm saying. But every product that is consumed that we're buying off of retail shelves will have it. But when it comes to restaurants, and maybe this equates maybe with the idea that restaurant and dining out maybe is a small percentage more than it's led to believe. Where fast food obviously has their nutrition facts because they're all multiple.
They're big.
Yeah, and
this
I'm
is
assuming
one of
that's
the
the
few
majority.
rules that actually I think has done its job really well of encouraging someone who's on the edge of going big or staying small, either choosing one or the other based off this rule, because it's expensive to do all that math constantly. You can't change the menu as much, which is, going to limit you on customers who want, maybe you build your business on that and then you want to go bigger, but you're like, I can't really go bigger, dude, because I can't be doing all this math every fucking day without hiring some food scientist, and I can't afford him.
Yeah,
so let me just stay a little bit smaller, stay at my just 3 locations, and just grow those 3.
Yeah.
Rather than let me get 10 locations that are all okay.
Yeah, but I'm at least following nutrition and I'm making money.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the few roles that has done exactly what it was intended for.
Yeah, I just found that
actually,
fascinating.
I think it's. In addition to that, I was watching something about like how it's made, or some TikTok McDonald's worker was like showing all their inventory.
Yeah,
and some of it was bad, and some of it was much better. They've definitely upped their game of sourcing their food. It's not as like plastic as it used to be.
No, for sure.
If
anything, that might have just been a perception thing.
They were actually
lettuce, tomatoes coming in.
No, they were they were actually cooking like raw beef.
And for quarter pounders.
I always knew it was clean in there, right? That was his thing. It was like, look how dirty it gets, and then how clean it gets. But McDonald's is clean.
I'll put McDonald's
as
restaurants
a corporate. They're clean.
There's a lot of restaurants out there that operate at a very shitty capacity.
On the limit of
Yeah,
being
they're
closed.
on the cusp.
Not McDonald's. That place clean.
No, but I mean, rightfully so. There's a million
Yeah.
of them, and they're held to a certain standard.
Yeah.
Whether they're received negatively or positively, I put that in options.
Yeah.
They exist because that's an option, and it is warranted because it is a private business.
But they've upped their game.
And they're able to, and because of people.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Let's be honest.
Exactly. Exactly,
Yeah.
right? McDonald's was getting hated on for buying shitty this, shitty that, shitty this,
And look what
shitty
they
that.
did.
And look what they did. And they did it kind of quietly.
Yeah.
There was definitely advertisement. I didn't see as much
Yeah.
of it because I'm not their target. But
Yeah.
I definitely was like, yo, like, that's beef. That's not just beef cut with something else anymore.
That doesn't come pre-frozen, pre-patty.
and,
That's
like,
coming in, yeah.
They're thawing it and then cooking it.
Yep.
You know, it's just not a hockey
Boom,
puck.
yep.
I was like, wow,
Come
look
on,
at that.
man.
Okay,
Come on.
You know,
I
Give
give
them
them credit
their
because
dues.
they did that to the Quarter Pounder. That was a big push a couple years ago where they did a rendition on it. And that's a rendition on one of their flagship, items. So for them to do that as that company and to do the overhaul, but then this extends to your point in the earlier discussion of the Prop 12 stuff. That's a huge company that in the face of change can able
They
to
did it pretty
do
fast.
that. But they could do that because, like you said, they have the manpower, they have the money to be able to take a hit in terms of whatever that took to revamp their whole situation.
And now
for it
they're
to
back
roll
on
out.
top.
Thank you. Yeah. And so
The bonus
both
is,
ways.
they demanded that from their suppliers,
Yep.
and their suppliers had to up their game, which
Yep.
is great. Which is great.
Yeah, because everybody was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, that is don't eat their stuff. That's
So
this." Big
that
slime,
part of it
big
is
slime.
great.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. So you got to give it up. But yeah, no, I was just looking at the nutrition fact thing, and I was just finding it fascinating.
it is cool.
And it's cool that restaurants operate in that because it is such a smaller, more private, intimate setting. And like you said, to have a mathematician, nutritionist on board isn't really required for that situation in a private setting.
Oh.
I just find it fascinating that once it got to fast food, because I remember when that unveiled, it was kind of like, huh.
People were like, "Oh, it's gonna be impossible," and
And
clearly it was not.
people still don't pay attention. The charts are everywhere.
oh, that's true.
People don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Oh, then there was the whole thing that they were complaining. Oh yeah, I had to go like in the bathroom, and it was like behind the door,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh,
that's where,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Now it's
It's there.
you go to order a number 5 combo,
And they have it,
right
all
there,
the info. Yep. Calorie intake.
1,000 calories.
Yep.
And people are like, "Give me that."
Yeah, I'll take 3 of those. Because people
I think
don't
it's
care.
actually even listed if you get just the burger, or if you get it
Yep,
with
with
this,
the meal. Yep.
or as a combo
Mhm.
with soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to your point again,
They
that's
did it.
them having enough money or having a whole department
Oh, that's a
dedicated
whole
to that.
department.
Yeah, see?
That
And
is
I
a
mean,
whole
I'm
department.
not a proponent of big business, but seeing that as a private business and hearkening on the private business, making change in lieu of, I'm assuming, people, or if that was on their own volition to do it. Either way, it was an adjustment that, fits more of a demand, I guess, from a social standpoint. You know, people that were probably up in arms about it probably don't even eat McDonald's. The people that were mad
Right.
at that. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even make
See, so that's what it's so strange about
some
that.
of them.
It's the same thing.
but
I
not
mean,
the majority.
Yeah. Even though if it was, let's just say the Prop 12 thing was, from animal right activists, whatever, that's, it's probably more than that. But it seems like the people that would be, fighting for that aren't the people actually really caring about it. It's
They're
just
gonna
more of
be
a,
eating.
it's more of a, this is what I believe. I don't necessarily am into it like that. I just, you have to do that for animal rights. I don't
Yeah.
know anything about the business. I don't care. I care about animals. Like, yeah, I mean, yes, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
write in law, but however that works. Yeah, so nutrition facts there. I was also interested. I was watching this documentary on Herschel Walker. You know who Herschel Walker is? Running back, Dallas Cowboys back in the days.
Yeah.
Turned MMA fighter later in his career. Physical specimen, Heisman winner the whole nine.
Yeah.
Do you know his dietary, situation? You ever heard of it?
No.
So this dude, I don't know how accurate this is, or if this is an everyday thing or still now, but his thing at his prime playing days, and I don't know, he might still be a proponent of it now. He only ate like 1 bowl of soup every day.
That's it.
1 bowl of vegetable soup.
It's kind of like the Tom Brady thing.
What did Tom Brady? Avocado toast.
Tom Brady's got that whole
Oh,
diet
his-
he falls, and it's definitely less food than you would expect
Okay, so now
for someone
thinking about
operating
that,
at that.
as a restaurant, individual cook, chef in the industry, plus, food fan, What is your take on fasting just as a practice, and then seeing how that, kind of plays down the road? Because, let's say, for instance, intermittent fasting is a very popular topic that's been grasped probably in the last maybe 5-6 years, maybe, where the common everyday person is playing around with certain ways, they're eating at different times of the day, consumption, fuel based on, activity. A lot of people are getting more into, kind of those talking points. I don't know, like, what's your take on that, your opinion,
Well, you have to decide what your target is for your body, right? And if yours is that you want to look like Tom Brady or Herschel Walker, do that diet.
But it's so weird because there's the thinking of, heavy protein, and then all this and, chicken, brown rice, broccoli.
Yeah.
But then him and physicality, I think, is more hereditary, at least for physicality, like looks-wise. In terms of maintaining a healthy, whatever, it's everybody's different. So I think in the Rolodex,
you have to toy
around. Yes, yeah.
You have to decide your target. So, are you trying to bulk? Are you trying to slim down?
Yeah.
Are you trying to be like slim down and muscular? Or are you just trying to cut weight?
Yeah.
Are you trying to get bigger and muscular? Or are you just trying to get bigger?
Yeah.
Are you trying to have higher endurance? Are you trying to have more bursts? You had to decide semi-specifically, not even that much to start, what your target is. And that's when you can start your journey of like figuring out what nutrition works for you.
Yeah.
We know a lot about nutrition now. We still don't know anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff crosses and people aren't sure if it works, but it worked for this person's body type. But after you pick your target, then you have to decide what body type do I even have? So how realistic is my target? You know, if I said I wanted to be 170 pounds, it's never going to happen. Yeah. I'm never going to be 170
Is that what
pounds.
you're supposed to be according to whatever?
Oh, to whatever that BMI index. Yeah. Oh, according to the BMI index, I'm like excessively obese. Okay.
Hey, I'm pretty up there too. Yeah.
So whatever. I mean,
that's insane that they came up with that. Whoever came up with that probably came up with the
just shows
food
how
pyramid.
outdated it gets instantly.
Oh, man.
Instantly outdated.
But that's a government entity trying to put some weird shit on, like, hey, here's what you're supposed to be.
They were trying to be helpful. There's definitely a large part of America that is obese for sure, negatively, and I wish.
But see, what does that attribute to?
But
is that
has no
food?
effect on me.
That's what I'm saying. That's not food. That has to be lifestyle.
That's It's food, lifestyle, decisions. Mental health status. A lot of people get stuck because they just like, I can't do anything. I'm like,
self-defeated.
Dude, once you accept the fact that no one knows what the fuck they're doing, it's so much easier.
But that's the hardest thing to accept.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Paul, you're getting so skinny. I was like, I don't fucking feel skinny.
It's all mental.
It is. That's the biggest part.
But see, to your point, obesity seems to be linked with food. Why is that?
Yeah. I think because
I get it.
Someone who's obese, you think that of gluttony.
Yeah, it's just all consumption.
And restaurant food is definitely like a luxury resource.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We don't need that.
No.
We don't need restaurants to survive.
No.
For how many millennia did we survive as a race?
Just eating communally. Just eating.
Oh shit! I found some nuts. Let me eat those.
Yeah.
Restaurants exist because candied hazelnuts taste good.
Yep.
And people aren't going to do it at home. People aren't going to make, beurre blanc at home all the time. No. And they want to just go out and they don't want to do dishes.
Yeah, they want to experience hot cuisine.
Yeah.
But, it's strange.
That's how I feel about it.
I just find it strange because fasting.
I find it strange that how little people know about nutrition and how important it is to us.
Yeah.
But that's going back to what I want it taught at schools and stuff. A basic level.
Yeah, basic level. Just even an idea of what, the body's interaction with food. I'm not saying all nutrition is correct because you could probably find varying studies on it, but I think more the merrier because I think the reason why there is more studies because the actual person to person is unique. You do have to do your own research with who what your parents ate and their parents ate.
Your neighbor's metabolism is not going to be yours.
Exactly.
The way that your body deals with the whatever enzyme in pineapple is going to be different than your neighbor. The way that you absorb and your body uses trans fats versus polysaturated, monosaturated fats versus your next door neighbor is going to be different. Your neighbor might be that son of a bitch that can eat a pound of McDonald's fries
worm in his stomach
and literally shits it out 5 minutes later. You might be the type of person that you eat one French fry and it never comes out because your body's like, "Yup, that's
Yep.
all mine."
That's all mine. Yeah,
You
keeping
know?
it, storing it here for 20 years.
Yeah,
And that's that's what's crazy.
That's just how it is, though.
Yes, but people that's why it's like strange how there are these constructs in relation to physical body type, and then expectation of how to look, I guess, socially or what we would perceive.
That's
and
sad
then from
to
there,
see that.
it matriculates, and then you have the food situation where, you know, well, shit, I can only afford this, or well, I don't know much, so I'm just going to eat this, and you know, you kind of get into all these kind of weird webs, and I think, like to your point, it goes back to how does this slowly change? It does change with a little bit of knowledge early on, and hopefully that can be expressed through avenues of education. But that may not be the case, and hopefully you shouldn't rely on education to get knowledge like that. And I have to keep them separate because I think knowledge is a little more inherited outside of education fields, where education is a certain type of education, specifically, you know, grafted and toned for a certain thing, where knowledge is like, you really should be getting that from home. So that's why we go back to the home thing, where what do you eat at home?
Self-researching.
Yes, self-researching, testing out your own shit. And going back to the diet discussion, it's like you have to figure out what works for you. That's why the Herschel Walker shit baffled me, because I could see where fasting makes sense, is because if you're not a person that's burning a lot of calories and you're not hungry all the time, you shouldn't probably be eating. But because we're in this construct of, well, breakfast, lunch, dinner, a lot of people abide by that, even if they're not hungry. So it becomes this routine.
I should eat something.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so my thing is
body's
like,
going to tell you when you get hungry. Listen.
That's what I said, because there was moments where I would be living, you know, my life and thinking, damn, it's been a while since I felt hungry. So it led me to believe or understand that there was that moment in my life where I wasn't doing a lot of physical activity. Because before, when I was, you know, being really active, I'd fucking be starving at the end of the day type shit. Right. But now it's like, no, I just eat for more or less convenience or experience. And like going back to the Herschel Walker thing, I was like, that is fucking fascinating for a guy that's running, you know, 2,000 yards every year.
Yeah, who's doing an elite level, operating his body on the top level. Yeah. Not our everyday, like I'm going for
and don't get me wrong, folks, just because you can eat a bowl of soup a day, you're going to be Herschel Walker. That is not what I'm saying. Yeah. What I'm saying is Herschel Walker must have, and a lot of people out there must have gotten to some point in their life and done enough experimentation or just figured out what works for them. And then they clasped it and held on to it, and you ride with that. Right. And I think it's going through those up and downs that you have to test it out. And that's why there's a million fucking ways of doing this.
Different diets and stuff. Yeah. I wish, like, some basics would be taught in school, just like how, like, carbs are, you know, equate to, I think one carb is whatever. Carb, fat, and protein, they each have like a calorie count per gram of how many calories you get. I forget what it's like, 9, 5, and 1 or something. And then like how they're used by your body. Fats break down last. Yeah. Or fats keep you full. Proteins fill you up. Carbs get used immediately. But there is like an optimal level. Like you can't eat a bag of potato chips, and you can't use unless you're going to use that energy right away. Yeah, it doesn't get thrown away. Yeah, your body is like, well, I'll hold on to it for next time. Yeah, and then but then like goes into the fat and protein that you ate with it, that you don't even use that energy,
stays also
stays. And then people are like, what happened? And then another basic fact that I didn't know for a long time is that it takes physically a couple minutes for the hormones to get from your stomach to your brain to tell you you're full. So you should eat slow. I think most people don't know that. No. I eat hella fast. But then I'm always uncomfortable because I always overate.
Yeah, bloated immediately. Bloated.
By the time I was full, my stuff I had already taken, more and more.
I passed the full marker and kept going. Because it's so
but
good.
I didn't know.
I didn't know. Same here. I overeat all the time. Yeah.
So, eating slower is really good for you. Yeah. Drinking water at the same time helps kind of fill in the little small spaces and makes you feel fuller earlier. Yeah. Which also would save you money if you're fuller faster.
See, that's
because then one meal is 2 meals. Yeah. But like those are like basic things that I wish were just taught in like elementary school biology.
No, because that doesn't sell food. See, what you're talking about is people being smart and not overeating. See, what we predicate on is people indulging. Exactly. We predicate on is indulging and having more eating fast, eating more. We have opulence. That's, I think, what food is. In that
we live in
regard.
luxury.
We live in luxury.
Especially in the U.S.
Yeah.
We
especially.
celebrate it.
Yeah. Almost to our detriment, at least to
our
a varying
detriment,
degree.
almost.
I mean, it's I can't really.
No, I get it.
I can't really. I'm trying to think of my experiences outside of the United States, and limited at least of what I have. It seems a little more ritualistic, at least in remembering
Meals. Yeah.
But maybe because I was out there, but just in the tone of, the times that I was eating anything, it seemed there was a little more ritualistic things to it. Not to say we were doing any type of weird seances or anything, but we were just.
I get it.
It was a little more communal. It was a little more. It was a big
like
deal.
When I used to go to Italy as a kid.
There you go.
And I just remember, like, throughout the day, like, we wouldn't eat, like, anything
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Everyone was, like, working in their field or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We would maybe eat, like, the bread guy on his little truck would come, and we'd buy a loaf for dinner that night and buy some for us, and we'd spread a little Nutella on it. Yeah. And that was, like, breakfast from, I don't know, what time do kids wake up? Like 7. Yeah. So it probably came around, like, 8. So from, like, 7 to probably 6, all I would have had was like some bread with a little Nutella on it, and maybe 2 or 3 bites of salami or a little prosciutto at some point. And then dinner was like
humongous.
You guys are here from America. We're your relatives. Like, we're gonna celebrate every night.
Yeah.
And we grew this today, and like, Nona's been cooking all day.
Yeah.
But that's how it was. It was
that's
like a part.
It's a little more ritualistic.
Yeah.
We're here, not here, but I'm assuming a lot of people still have.
And this guy down the road, he's coming tonight because he just harvested his whatever plant.
And he's bringing it over.
And he's gonna bring it over, and we're gonna eat just roasted this.
Yeah.
And it's bomb. Just wait. Okay. And we're gonna play cards, and lots of mixing of the different kids that, like, I didn't fucking know.
Yeah.
And different, families coming
Very
together,
communal.
all pulling together to make this huge feast, and then being up to like 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Only to start again the next day.
Yeah, and then just do the same thing.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, but there's a simplicity to it. But I think in at least closing that out in talking about that is almost idealistic on at least what I would like too. Like, that seems a little more ideal, where your whole day consists of working to get to that end game of.
I think it creates a very healthy relationship with food, of like, oh, I'm eating just enough because I know I'm having a big thing later, and like when I eat, I'm happy because I'm with other people who care about me and who we all want to see each other succeed, rather than I'm just eating on my own and whatever. I'm just bored.
Yeah, it's just fuel. I need to go do my next
That's
thing.
not as healthy a relationship with food as the other.
Yeah, because now it evokes like positive memories as opposed to like
instead of like, I'm
sad.
Look at myself. I'm sick of myself. Let me just eat some more.
I want more.
I'm just gonna eat more garbage because I'm a garbage person.
Yeah,
right?
that is strange, but it is kind of how it works.
Stuff, it's slow and gradual, but it does happen over time.
Yeah.
Versus, the previous experience of like, I grew these tomatoes. I just harvested my tomatoes. Or, tonight while we eat dinner, we're all going to press grapes. Or we're all going to press olive oil, or like they slaughtered the pig. And so we're going to eat ribs tonight. And then
we're going to put this for prosciutto.
A year from now,
the prosciutto will be ready.
Prosciutto will be ready.
We're going to put it in salt now, pack it, and then
There's something to be said for that. I don't know how you translate that over here. I wish I could figure it out.
But I think and this is the weird part about America. It's when you come here, you shed all that. We don't want that in America.
I don't think so anymore. I feel like immigrants
try to
definitely still have a similar, like, I want to assimilate. I just want to be part of the whatever you guys do, I do.
Yeah.
But I think more and more the second generation, who is usually bilingual and usually knows all the customs of both,
trying to keep that shit alive.
The environment now is much more like, no, celebrate you're adding to America by convincing your parents to teach everyone what they know.
Yeah.
And I think the generations like half before us that are at first generation immigrants are being convinced of that. I think when they first moved, they're scared. And then I think as they have kids, those kids are convincing them, like, no, it's okay to be you, and everyone accepts you for what you are, and they want what you bring.
Yes.
You're not
don't
just
assimilate
as to
yourself.
what it used to be, which was like, no, just you're here in America.
Yeah,
you do us.
See, that's what I'm more accustomed to, that way of thinking. But my heart wants to be what you're describing, because I
hope that's what I see.
That. That's what I'm thinking. But I think you hit on the head. I think there's this resurgence of it because like you said, the second gen has this tie to the old world, and in today's world, when you're trying to develop a lifestyle, there's American, and then there's whatever else you're comprised of as an individual. And if you don't know that or what those customs are, a lot of people have a tendency to want to find that out. It's just a natural instinct to know where you're from. And along with that, depending on how you've experienced, your own culture, a lot of that ultimately ends up in your own everyday life. And hopefully that would be at least, remnants of it. I mean, we're able to have those experiences when we go to people's, restaurants, like family restaurants. Those are amazing because you're like, oh, this is cool. Look, all the family works here.
Damn.
And then you're able to eat. Oh, try this. Try this.
We got it mailed from my uncle who lives in whatever. Mailed this to me. Try this.
Yeah. And that's why your restaurant
I do see it happen.
Thing. Yeah, exactly. Because there's a resurgence of it.
Saturday Farmers Market, there was like a baklava guy, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of good," but I had just had some really bad baklava like a week ago, so I was still like, "I don't know."
I don't know how that's crazy. That's crazy.
And so I walked past it, and then when I came back and I was like more awake, I was like, "I should have gone here because I didn't even see he was doing the coffee on the sand."
Oh shit!
And I was like, "Dude, what? That's crazy.
That's legit.
That's crazy."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like that, I thought I would never see that in person.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's tight.
Not in America. Definitely not in Sacramento, California.
Yeah,
I never thought I would see that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even like at a restaurant. It was just at
outdoors,
like a stall.
Here we go. Like what?
So that's progress for sure.
Cool.
On
that
that
is
part. So
because the fact that he's warranted there,
go.
He's warranted to be there, and the fact that there's an audience for that.
He feels like he's gonna make enough money.
Boom.
And we'll see.
10 years ago, you would never think that would. Yeah.
He would have been like, "What do you mean, dude? What do you
I don't
mean
need how
coffee
much?
on
I don't
sand?
Need that. Starbucks, please. Yeah.
And
You know
what do you
I
mean it's not gonna be ready in 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Dude?
See?
What do you mean it's not ready now?
And I think there's that shift. There's a shift happening.
People are starting to. Yeah.
I agree with it. There is something good going on.
So
all right, go ahead. Mushroom knowledge. What you got?
All right, so mushroom knowledge. Apparently, Penn State does a lot of mushroom research. A bunch of the articles I was looking at that weren't super interesting were all linked to Penn State. A couple were interesting. They were doing research into just basic like white button mushrooms is what they named. They think may be helpful for not curing mental disorders, but improving your general mental state. The more mushrooms you eat, it seems to have different beneficial effects. And they observed that the majority of people who were less depressed, but it was a very preliminary study. Can't put that much fact into it, but still interesting.
It is something.
It is
something.
Every research starts with some little nugget, and we'll see what they get into. And then the other thing was Denver. I didn't realize one had decriminalized psilocybin mushrooms, which was cool. But the article said that they were further decriminalizing it, which was kind of confusing to me. I kind of read two different articles about the same thing. I'm still kind of confused. I'll probably have to read another one. But
how much decriminalization? How many levels are there?
Yeah,
to
it seems that Denver is. They said that there's other places that have decriminalized it too, but that Denver seems to be leading the way
forefront
of kind of where weed was 5-6 years ago, where
Colorado
you could have some,
where
you could have some, but you can't produce. Yeah. And at the end of the article, they did say they're trying to do it in a way that big business doesn't just come through and start growing.
That's the hardest thing to stop. I mean, like you said, if it's
they have
money,
that in their mind, they're not sure what they're going to do, but they want to do it in a way where it's for the people to just do themselves. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
That is nice. That is nice to hear.
No brain control mushroom news this week, but we'll see.
Not yet.
I'll have to get some newsletter maybe. Maybe I can find some mushroom newsletter.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm a cheap bastard. I don't want to pay $5.99.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, but who would have thought Penn State is the one doing a ton of mushroom research? They just got a grant or something.
It's weird because Penn State's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I guess it's wet there. It's wet there.
Yeah, or they're probably flying in. They're probably flying in a whole bunch of samples too.
Well, they have space.
Yeah,
it's a big college.
Yeah,
definitely
very prominent. Very prominent.
Definitely attracts world researchers.
Yeah. And I mean, as long as there's movement being made on that end.
It's not that far from New York, really.
Yeah,
it's close, but without being, culturally overrun.
Yeah, so. I like that. I think there's a big future in mushrooms. I think, to your point about big business, I don't see how big business doesn't get in there. Because
Oh, I
if it's going to
definitely
make money,
they will.
yeah,
If there's
it's gonna
money to
make
be made,
yeah.
someone's gonna figure out how to min max it, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be the way it is. But we'll see.
Like looking back at marijuana, I'm thinking in my head there should have been some degree where it should have never been legalized, to be honest. But it shouldn't be Schedule 1 either. So decriminalize and not Schedule 1, but not anything to do with government.
Yeah.
It should have just been like
Well,
oregano or sage. Like you just, here you go,
that'd be nice.
and I'll smoke it.
Unfortunately, that's not the way it's gonna go down. But
Well, because it's money involved.
yeah,
So, I mean,
if there's money to be made,
I know.
we'll see. Maybe it'll
Jeez.
just get so widely accepted that people will just, all of us will just grow. You know, like how you grow a basil plant, you'll just grow a little mushroom plant.
That's true. Here's the good thing about mushrooms already in its existence. One, there's a shit ton of them. Second, we eat a lot of them. So whatever the studies are being now are all the ones that we either halted studies in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
They're just resuming that, which is cool because there is already a foundation for a lot of that experimentation from back in the days. And hopefully that continues to blossom into other, Schedule 1 drugs. And it's more from the medicinal side, I'm assuming, that the big push is because, well, just like marijuana, those are miracle things. Like the shit that we already talked about, just mushroom facts, that shit is like,
It's crazy.
you would think we're lying. Oh, bioluminescence. There's a glow-in-the-dark mushroom.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there's a mushroom
It's crazy
that
that
change your
nature
mind.
is creating these compounds that we can't even.
Fathom.
Exactly.
Can't.
We
Out of this
can't-
realm.
We're just like, what do you mean that there's a compound that exists that contains this? Like, theoretically, that's not possible.
Yeah.
But this plant just does it every
Yeah.
day. We don't even know how to do it.
Oh, this is the biggest living organism. It's like this is the biggest thing out there in the world right now. This is how big the mushroom is, and it can control all of its things. Look at
Yeah.
that. And
Actually,
we knew this the
It
whole time.
communicates.
Yeah.
It helps everything communicate around the world. What?
Yeah. See, so that's why it's
the
like
part. That's still
we're
the
touching something
craziest
else.
mushroom fact to me is still the mycelium
Yeah.
communication thing.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's
that
what
one
makes
blows
you
my
think.
mind at least a couple times a week when I'm just sitting there. I'm like, yo,
we're mushrooms, bro.
the mushrooms are talking to each other.
Come on, Super Mario mushrooms, man. Tell the people they want to
Be kind to each other.
Yes.
Vote with your dollar,
Truth.
please.
Truth.
Drink your water. Buy local. Vote with your dollar. Please, always.
Yes. Thank you, P. Always much pleasure. Food Junkie Radio, episode
Same to
37.
you.
We out.